Hi, I'm Fiona. Welcome back if you are new here. Hello, I'm so glad you found me again if you haven't found me before. Today I want to have a real honest conversation with you, not a polished or scripted one or saying everything's perfect, just a real conversation. Because I think that's what's missing in so much of what we see online. Everyone's showing you the highlight reel, the big numbers, the overnight results, and very few people are actually sitting down and saying, here's where I was, here's what wasn't working, and here's why I made the decision I made. So that's what today is, my real story. And if any part of it sounds familiar to you, if you're still sitting there nodding along, then stay with me, because there's something at the end of this video that I genuinely think that could be worth your time looking at. So let me take you back a bit. I spent years working as a paediatric nurse, years of long shifts, emotional days, giving everything I had to families and children in my care. And I loved it, I genuinely did. But it was also exhausting in a way that's hard to put into words unless you've done it before. I unfortunately got poorly and was no longer able to do this work. So I had to start thinking that has to be another way to have a revenue stream that doesn't depend entirely on me showing up, being on my feet, pouring from my cup that sometimes feels really empty. So I started exploring. I looked at different ways of working from home. I tried a few things. I even dipped into sleep coaching for a while. I don't know whether you remember. Helping women who were struggling with exhaustion and fatigue, which felt close to my heart, given my background. But if I'm honest, things weren't clicking. My passion wasn't fully there, and I couldn't quite find the right audience. I couldn't make anything really stick. And there were moments, usually late at night, where I genuinely wondered whether working from home was actually going to happen for me. Can you relate to that? The feeling of trying and wondering, why isn't it working the way it seems to work for everybody else? If you can keep watching, this is what I'm about to share, is the thing that changed me forever. The conversation that changed everything. A while back, I was on a course on those online learning programs where you connect with other women who are also trying to build something for themselves as well. And I got talking to one of the other women on the course, and she started explaining something to me, not in a salesy way, not in a script or presentation way, just in a real, simple, clear, genuine way. And within minutes, I'm talking minutes, something just clicked for me. I thought, I can do this. This actually makes sense. I got really passionate. Now, I know that might sound like I'm glossing over, but I generally said yes straight away. No convincing needed, no second guessing, because what she was describing was so different from anything I'd seen before that it cut through all my usual cautions. And here's what it was that got me. 3 things specifically. First, how affordable it was. The entry was just the price of a takeaway, and it's generally accessible to most people. We're talking less than a monthly cup of coffee for takeaways, so you can get started. So you know how you have your coffee each week. It's less than that. And that matters to me because I wanted to share things that ordinary people can do and say yes to without being at any financial risk to them. The second thing was how simple the model was. No complicated systems, no mountains of products to learn, no pressure to perform immediately, just a clear, clean concept that made sense in the moment it was explained to me. And the third thing was already growing at speed that very few business models ever achieved. And when something is growing that fast, it tells you something. It tells you that real people are finding a real value in it and they are staying. The problem with the old models, that was the problem with the old models. Now, before I go any further, I want to address something because I know that some of you are hearing the words home business or membership model or residual income, and your walls might just have gone up a little bit. And that's completely understandable because most of us have seen the old version of the industry and it wasn't pretty, I can tell you. I've been around it for long enough to know what the old model looked like. Expensive products that you had to buy every single month just to stay active auto ships quietly leaving your bank account, whether you liked it or not. Compensation plans so complicated that nobody really understood them. And this constant pressure to recruit, to sell overpriced things to your friends and family and hoped they didn't quietly resent you for it. You know what I mean? And parties as well. No wonder people got burnt. No wonder so many walked away from it. Here's what I want you to understand though. It wasn't the idea of working from home that was broken. It wasn't the idea of building something alongside your life. It was the model, the actual model of the business. And someone finally looked at all these things that weren't working and removed them. No auto ship if you don't want it. There's no volume requirements. No overpriced stock sitting in your spare room. No pressure to push products onto people who don't want them. You don't even have to buy or sell them either. Think about this. You pay for Netflix every month, don't you? You pay for Amazon or Prime, your gym membership, your Spotify. You pay for these things because they give you genuine value, and so you stay month after month without anyone having to chase you. That's the model I'm talking about. A membership that people generally want to be with. That saves them money, that gives them real value, and because people stay, the real retention is built in, the revenue keeps coming and coming. That's what real residual income looks like. Not chasing the next sale, not starting from zero every month, just a quiet, steady income that builds in the background while you get on with your life. Do you know what this is really about? I want to pause here for a moment because I don't want this to be about money. And I think you've been following me for a length of time. That's not really who I'm about. Yes, the revenue matters, of course it does. The idea of building something that earns while you sleep, that gives your family more freedom. That means that your husband or your partner or family can make decisions without constantly watching the pennies. That matters enormously to me. But what this is really about, at the least, is freedom, time freedom. The ability to present, to take a walk with my dog, not even giving it a second thought. To sit at the piano and learn something new without guilt. To be the kind of wife and mum who isn't constantly stressed out about money all the time. And beyond that, and this really is important to me, is being able to give and have a deep desire to contribute to things that matter, to support causes that help people who have been very little, and you can only do that when you have something to give. So when I look at what I'm building, it's not just a business, it's a vehicle towards a life that looks and feels the way I actually want it to feel. And believe me, I genuinely believe that other women deserve this too. Women who are working hard, women who are tired, women who have been trying for a while and wondering why nothing is sticking. You deserve something that works. What I want you to know is, if you're sceptical, maybe you're watching this and you're not quite convinced yet. Maybe you've heard things like this before and it didn't work out. Maybe you're someone who's trusted recommendations, where you trusted somebody and they recommended something to you and it left a bad taste in your mouth. I hear you, I really do. And I would never tell you to ignore those instincts. What I will say is this. I'm not someone who does hype, doesn't make claims, and I can't stand behind anything like that. I don't tell people they'll become millionaires in the next month. That's just not who I am. What I can tell you is that this model is real. The growth is real. The community of people building it is real. And the fact that it costs so little to get started means the risk is generally low as well. I'm also someone who is still learning myself. I'm not at the top, or nowhere near. I'm not pretending to have all the answers. I'm building this alongside you, one step at a time. That's actually one of the things I find so refreshing about this. You don't have to have it all figured out before you start. You just have to be real. People don't want to follow someone who's perfect. They want to follow someone who's genuine, someone they can trust. If you want to know more, and if any part of this I've shared with you today has sparked something in you, then I'd love to have a proper conversation with you. not a sales pitch, just a chat, like two women sitting over a cup of tea and talking honestly about something that might just change things for you for the better. So here's what I'd love you to do. If this has resonated, and if you're curious, even a little bit, drop the word info in the comments below or send me a private message, whichever feels more comfortable to you, and I'll send you some details that explains the model clearly and simply, and the same way it was explained to me. No pressure, no obligation, just information, so you can make your own informed decision. And if it's not for you, that's absolutely fine. I'd rather you make the right decision for yourself and say yes to something that isn't right fit for you. That's not the kind of business I'm building. But if it is for you, and if it's something in what I've been saying to you is worth looking at, it might be worth taking a look. I'd love to be the person who walks you through it and helps you every step of the way. So thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. That's really kind. That means such a lot to me. It really does. And I hope something in here has been useful, whether you're curious or open to having a look to what I'm building, or whether you just need to hear that it's okay to still be figuring things out, because it is. I'll be back soon with more. And in the meantime, look after yourself, get some rest, and know that whatever's working, you're working towards, you're closer than you think. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. It'd be great to hear from you.